Greetings, this is Greg. Digital Combat Simulator, aka DCS, is currently the most detailed World War II flight sim out there. Within DCS World, some of the best content can be found in the single-player campaigns for various World War II aircraft. I just completed the Horrido FW-190 campaign from Reflected Simulations for the second time, and I want to review it and offer my thoughts on this excellent product. In order to avoid any possible spoilers, none of the in-flight footage in this video is from the actual campaign. This is just generic footage of an FW-190 attacking a Mosquito. The Horrido campaign puts you in the place of an experienced Luftwaffe pilot taking over command of an FW-190 squadron. That means that the creator of the campaign starts it off with the assumption that you already know how to do everything an FW-190 Anton can do. Let me give you a few examples. You might be able to start the engine in the Anton, but have you done it in the dark? Do you know how to turn on the cockpit lights? Some missions start off in the very early morning hours, so you will need to be able to do that. Perhaps you've been flying the 190 in multiplayer and you're pretty good at dogfighting and taking off and landing. But have you taken off at maximum weight, meaning full internal fuel and ammo plus a fully loaded drop tank and rockets? Speaking of rockets, have you practiced with those? They can really help you out in the campaign. Oh, and as you will be the squadron leader, you need to be able to navigate. In some other campaigns, you can sort of follow the herd from one checkpoint to the next, and you can usually get home that way. But that's not an option in this one. You are the leader. The herd is following you. Reflected put a lot of work into creating realism. For example, on the airfields, there are soldiers walking around, vehicles are driving, planes are warming up, taxiing, taking off and landing. All that stuff might not directly affect your mission, but it adds to the level of immersion. To further add to these feelings of immersion and realism, and I have to be careful not to give anything away here, but the campaign features a number of surprises, many of which I didn't even know were possible within DCS, but really give the feeling of being there. For example, you will encounter every Allied plane that exists in DCS, but on the radio you'll hear about ones that don't. For example, a Luftwaffe squadron in the distance may be fighting against P-38 Lightnings, which are not in the sim. You will encounter famous people from World War II and fly a great variety of air-to-air and air-to-ground missions, trying to stop the Allied bombing campaign in the air and the Allied advance on the ground. Here I'll demonstrate a rocket attack on B-17s. This is very helpful in the campaign. Pay particular attention to the range at which I fire the rockets. The idea is to get the rockets to detonate in the middle of the B-17 formation, then fly through the formation, turn around and come in for gun attacks. Even if the rockets don't knock down any B-17s, they tend to knock out a lot of the B-17's gunners, making my follow-up attacks easier. Now let's take a look at the damage those rockets cause. One B-17 is utterly obliterated. In fact, this one may have taken a direct hit from one of those two rockets. I couldn't tell in the replay. Interestingly, it didn't catch on fire, but it's obviously going down. The rockets did catch another B-17 on fire, did a lot of damage to it, and once a fire is raging to this extent in a B-17, in DCS, that plane is going down. Now, the other two airplanes in the formation are not on fire and are not going down, but they are so badly damaged, it's a certainty that quite a few of the gunners are dead. You can just see that they're riddled with shrapnel and full of holes. They're not on fire, so I'll have to finish them off with the guns. When attacking these bomber formations with guns, I want to vary my altitude. I want to go up and down just enough to go in and out of the fields of fire of the upper and lower turret. That makes the job of those turret gunners very difficult. Now, when I fire, I want to sweep my machine gun and cannon fire laterally across the wings to maximize the chance of catching the airplane on fire. So I caught one on fire, the second one I hit, but he's not burning. You can pump a lot of ammo into the fuselage of a B-17 and not bring it down. That's where all the armor is. But if you shoot into the wings, very good chance you're going to light the thing up. Now keep in mind that when you're flying in the actual reflected module or campaign, these bomber formations are huge. You can't just fly into the middle of the formation or you are going to get torn up. What you have to do is pick a group of 4 bombers or maybe more that are at the edge of the formation, launch your rockets into that, and then go into that section and finish up with the guns and stay away from the bulk of the formation. You want to minimize the number of guns that can be trained on you. Here we're coming in, we're varying our altitude a little bit, although I suspect the gunners in this B-17 are dead. At least the tail gunner is, because it's not shooting. sweep left to right, and we started a lot of fires on the airplane. So that's the way to take on these B-17 formations, and I know people are having a lot of trouble with that. Hopefully this helps. Now my wingman and I are going to take on a couple of Spitfires. My wingman is set to AI at the ace level. The Spitfires are AI, one of them at ace and one at some lesser level. This is representative of the type of encounter you'll have within the campaign. You will have to deal with Spitfires. Just don't dogfight them. Keep the fight at very high speeds if you can, and attack Spitfires when they're unsuspecting. We're going to fire at them on the head-on pass here and hopefully get some hits. And we did. We got some hits there. They're not devastating. The plane's not on fire. Wing didn't come off or anything. Now I'm going to keep my speed up. It looks like the other Spitfires are starting to go down, probably after my wingman go down as into a lower altitude. I'm going to keep my speed up as best I can, but I'm having a difficult time now keeping him in sight. This is a typical thing in DCS and in reality, I suppose. I'm going to use the padlock feature there to lock him up. The problem is when you come out of padlock, that's what happens. The view gets all screwed up. Anyway, now I know where he is. He's down low. At least I know where one of them is. One of them is down low, chasing my wingman. That's a great situation for me. The speeds are very high. The 190 will maneuver with the Spitfire at very high speeds. And because he's chasing my wingman, he's going to either have to turn at a rate which I can match or break off pursuit. Either way, good for me. You can see very high speed, very high G turn here. And I'm going to line him up and fire at him with everything. And the Spitfire's not very rugged, so it doesn't take too much. So that guy's done for. I don't know if that was the ace or the novice. See another airplane, but that's my wingman. I've lost sight of the other airplane. That could be a problem. Usually that means they're behind you. So I'm looking for that Spitfire, and now I see him down low. It's a gray Spitfire. That's the one I hit in the original head-on pass, so he's at least somewhat damaged. I'll split S and go after him, but already this is not going my way, so now I'm just going to keep my speed up and try and get away from him, and hopefully he chases me and my wingman will come in and knock him out from behind. So he's definitely chasing me, and my wingman is going to be coming in. I'll pause it and show you the view here. You can see me and then the Spitfire and then my wingman rolling in after him. So my tactic here is just going to be keep my speed up, jink a little bit, not too much. I don't want to slow down. I want to keep my speed up and get distance from this guy. And hopefully my wingman will either shoot him down or force him to break off of me, in which case I will then turn and get back and fight. Oh, just took a hit, but it's a rifle caliber round, British 303, at a pretty long distance too, so it's not likely it's going to really do anything to my airplane. Keep my speed up here, keep checking. My wingman's pouring a lot of ammunition in his direction, so that guy's going to have to break off, and he does. So now I can start trying to get back into the fight. Wow, you can see my wingman's shooting a whole lot. It's funny, anytime an ace level AI is shooting at me, they hit with incredible ease, and now that they're shooting at another AI, they can't seem to hit no matter what. But that's DCS AI for you. Alright, I've got the enemy in sight. I don't want to follow the wrong airplane here. I want to be careful. Really pushing the limits of what my plane can do. But I'll close in on him, and I'll pause it in just a minute here to show you how damaged this Spitfire is. How much of that damage was from the initial head-on pass, and how much is from my wingman shooting at him, I really don't know. Either way, he can't maneuver very well now, and should be a relatively easy kill. So here you go. Here's that Spitfire. You can see right ailerons heavily damaged, right elevator missing, right horizontal stabilizer is pretty shot up. That's why he's not maneuvering and not really interested in fighting anymore. So pull the throttle back, so reduce the closure, line him up, and let him have it. Non-self-sealing tank in the front of those things at the top. Well, real rookie mistake. Hit him with my propeller, so I'll be spending the rest of the war in a British prison camp. Next up, we'll fight a P-47 Thunderbolt, a common and fearsome opponent within Reflected's campaign. I need to mention, this is not a sponsored video. It's not an advertisement. Nobody asked me to make it or paid me for my thoughts. I paid full price for the campaign. On that subject, it's only $10, which is an incredible deal, considering Reflected must have spent hundreds of hours making this. It's my opinion that this campaign is the type of content and the type of product my viewers would be interested in. The other reason I'm making this video is because after the last DCS video I made, it occurred to me that I was probably a little harsh on DCS and Eagle Dynamics. I talked about the upcoming Corsair, which I'm excited about, but complained a bit about the delays. I suppose it's human nature to focus on what you don't have, but in the case of DCS, I think we need to take a step back from the hype about upcoming products and realize how amazing DCS is in its current form. You can step into an FW190 and every switch works. The flight model is realistic, and DCS has great period-correct maps to explore and opponents to battle, either humans or AI, for single-player action. It's not just the 190 either. I also have the P-47 Thunderbolt and the P-51 Mustang and quite a few others. I have campaigns from Reflected for both the Thunderbolt and Mustang, and they are great as well. I have been flying flight simulators since the original Red Baron. I don't mean the one from Dynamics. I mean the Atari arcade cabinet, which seemed amazing in 1980. What we have now via DCS really is incredible. If you want the most realistic World War II flight sim experience possible, it's DCS via a campaign from Reflected Simulations. I'll let the rest of this dogfight play out on screen. That's all for now. Goodbye and have a great day.